Hey, what is up, guys? Boris here, coming to you guys again with another One Piece Discord discussion. I guess this is episode 2. And today we're here to talk about One Piece chapter 823, which just dropped today. I got some of my Discord homies again. You guys can see who's going to be talking by the little circles that light up that will indicate which user is talking. And there might also be people talking in the One Piece manga text chat, which you guys can see as well. So let's go ahead and get started with this discussion with the fact that we finally, it's confirmed where Vivi is going. There was a lot of speculation, a lot of people were thinking this, a lot of people thinking that. So I'll let Fuzzy take it this time. What do you guys, what is Fuzzy, what do you think about the whole Reverie thing now?
Rip my theory. Just rip. Just dead in the water. They took it out. They shot it 3 times and then decapitated it just to make sure it was dead. So my bad, guys. Tinfoil hat removed. But no, it was a good chapter. I don't think the revolutionaries necessarily lost the war. I just feel like they probably just ditched Baltigo altogether. Just bailed.
All right, so yeah, we can start by talking about the ending then. The big reveal, and Oda's been doing this a lot this year, ends the chapter with a big reveal, and this time it's revealed that Baltic was apparently destroyed.
Yeah,
Um,
question about that. When did we discover Ace's defeat? Was it during the Jaya arc?
No, it was at the end of Water 7.
Water 7.
yeah,
Water
Yeah.
7. No. Oh, it was. That's right. It was at the end of Water 7. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like not his defeat, but like when he fought Blackbeard, was that
Yeah,
that
there
was
was like a
that
yeah,
was
chapter
yeah.
after the Garp revealed all the stuff after Enies Lobby.
yeah. Because I mean, it's just at this point it start because they found it and they destroyed it. I wonder if they turned them in, and will this end up like another? Since a lot of things have played similarity to like since Dressrosa played like a similarity to Alabasta, will this end up playing like another, not like maybe not like another, not necessarily like another Marineford War, but sort of like something similar to where Ace was being publicly executed and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess all I can say that we're not sure as to what happened. Some people are speculating uh, that the revolutionaries destroyed it themselves to get rid of any evidence. Some people
Yeah,
were
true.
saying that they just weren't there because remember he summoned the commanders and then they went off possibly to the Reverie, and Blackbeard used the opportunity to destroy it. We're still not sure. We do see a couple of images in the newspaper. I can't make out any of them, but Dragon and Sabo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can make
Some
out any.
people were
I
saying
heard
the Some people were saying the third image was Lucci, which I don't agree with.
To me, the
and
bottom left looks like Lola, but I
It
don't know.
really does
I
actually
I
kind of
heard
look.
Blackbeard too. I heard someone was saying the bottom
Yeah,
left
I've
might
heard
be
Blackbeard
Blackbeard.
too. That could be. It's really
Yeah.
interesting. Oda always draws these into the newspapers, and it's really hard to tell.
The one bullet dragon could be Kuma, maybe showing that he used to
Yeah,
be a
that
revolution.
looks like Kuma to me. That's but I
Yeah.
didn't think it was him because he's not in there anymore. But
I don't know. I feel like also in this chapter, I mean, we're jumping all around, but there's like they show all the different people going to the Reverie, and one of the people they show is Stelly, which if you remember is Sabo's stepbrother that was adopted to take his place, sort of by his family, his noble family, and they obviously didn't get along because like Stelly's like the really like the scummy like all commoners are trash type character, sort of like a celestial dragon, and they
It's
show
like your
him.
typical noob.
Yeah, they have a page dedicated to him. I can't imagine that the revolutionaries won't show up to the Reverie, especially after showing that, because there's going to be a
Oh
reunion
yeah,
between him and his
yeah,
brothers.
exactly. There's a lot of
true.
people who have really wanted Sabo to show up. Sort of like how Sasuke shows up at the summit in Naruto. Similar thing
There's
where Sabo would crash the party, right? And
yeah,
Stelly
there's
being there adds more incentive for Oda to put Sabo there, and the fact that the revolutionary base is now gone, it definitely, the wheels are in motion, and something like that could definitely happen.
It would actually. This is like people were saying that they destroyed themselves. There's probably a pretty good chance that Blackbeard did clash with the revolutionaries, and maybe Dragon saw his opportunity to be like cover his tracks, so that the world government would never
Yeah,
expect him to show up.
Yeah, maybe
Because
learn more about his abilities as well.
Yeah, and like Dragon's been like teased since the very beginning, like you know what I mean, since
Yeah, all the way back to
lockdown, and then
Lowtown.
the Reverie was teased in Drum Island. Like these two have been teased for so long. I feel like Dragon needs a big introduction. So unless he's saving Dragon for like the final war, like the big world war at the end of One Piece, I feel like the Reverie is just the perfect place to for him to finally make his move.
Yeah, I guess the question going forward that a lot of people are going to be asking is Luffy going to show up at the Reverie? Because that's I've heard a lot of people thinking that, and I don't know what you guys
Yeah, I
think
don't
about
think
that.
he's
No.
going to.
I
I
doubt it.
don't think so. No. After this
Well,
chapter, that no.
I don't think so either. I really don't.
Oh
But
man,
there's a lot of people
I'm
who
about to
do.
I'm about to
Wait, has
disagree
someone
with you guys.
The
Well,
only
some
way
of
we
that
don't
would
even.
possibly happen is some miracle way. Fuzzy's theory was right, and some
No, it's
that's
not
the
right
only
because
way.
no. My theory is not right because my theory had them going to Whole Cake Island and that was where they were going to hold the Reverie. But in this chapter, they specifically said they were going to Mary Joe.
Yeah.
Well, we
Hold
see in
on.
the chapter that
Which
they
we
keep
knew the
going
whole
off track, so maybe they'll like
No, okay, hold on.
Nami will go into Cook and Luffy will do something and go in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I think they're still going. I still think they're going to Whole Cake Island. I think that once again the Reverie is just coming up. I don't think it's going to take place simultaneously with Whole Cake Island. I could be wrong. I just think there was too many characters. He went out of his way to show that Dr. Korea is going along with Dalton.
Yeah.
Vivi's coming back. I feel like there's characters in this that have a tie to the Straw Hats that they would want to meet up with meet up with the crew.
Shirahoshi as well. Shirahoshi as well. From Fishman
Yeah.
Island.
Yeah,
Oh,
Shirahoshi
yeah,
and oh, dude, that
But that actually makes me think that it's not time for Luffy to meet back with Shirahoshi. That's like
Yeah,
no way.
takes me away
well,
from
that's
it.
why
I
It's
think-
too early.
Well,
I think
we
the
don't
next
even
few chapters are going to be a Reverie arc, and by the time the Reverie arc is over, that will be when Luffy and his crew are just getting to Whole Cake Island. Is the idea? I think.
Yeah,
So we
but-
might get one or two
Yeah, I
chapters
agree.
of Reverie.
I agree with that.
Well, the thing is, the weird thing though is that the Reverie, they're just setting sails for the Reverie, so it might take a while for them to get
yeah. How
there.
long does it take to get the Marijoa? Because from some people are coming from East Blue, like
Yeah, like
Shelley
Stelly's
was
not
in
even. Yeah, he
Logtown.
hasn't even left yet. So I think it's still
Yeah,
gonna be a couple days
I
before the Reverie.
mean, that's while yes, that is possible. There's still like how the Straw Hats have the coup de verse. They could have better ships that could get from there to there in faster time.
But yeah, remember they travel
Well,
to
they
the
can
Calm
do-
Belt as well, so it's a lot
No, I
easier.
don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think
they've got a marine. They've got a marine escort, so that means they can use the current that the Marines set aside to get to like
And the
Marineford really
combo.
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
Prism
the
Stone.
other thing that's interesting is like all the different designs. I have a feeling some of these guys might actually be strong. Like we have King Elizabello, who obviously is really strong. We have so some of these kings are strong. If something does happen at the Reverie, we're gonna have people who are actually capable of fighting back. It's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
Pell's there, and then Dalton and all.
Yeah,
that.
I mean Pell,
So,
Dalton, like there's some strong guys, and a lot of the new guys introduced. I'm sure they have some really cool powers. The guy with the little clock
The
beard.
one king kind of reminds me of Vista.
That is true.
Which
I
one?
feel like I
Well,
recognize
one, you
that.
can't see his face. It's
that
covered by
the-
the text box.
For some reason, I feel like
It's got
Oh,
a
what
yeah.
is
block for it as well.
someone look up.
I don't know
What does the king from Nolan's background look like? Does he have any defining features? The king from Nolan's country.
Well, it's not confirmed that it's Nolan's, but you're talking about it looks like the castle looks similar, right?
I just can't remember what he looks like. 'Cause there might be some features that are similar to.
Maybe. Oh, you're talking back in the flashback.
We see the king from Nolan's country.
Don Chinja would have gone there as well, and I guess this time it's Sai.
Yeah, that's the thing.
From-
I want to talk about that because I was I didn't know what's going on. Like, apparently Don
I didn't
Chinjao
know
and
who's-
Sai haven't made it back to Kano Kuni. So I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
well-
on with them.
They're in the Grand Line, and Kano Kuni's in West Blue. If you read the chapter,
Yeah, they're
that
in West
area, it
Blue.
says it's in West Blue.
So I wonder like what they've been up to since the. Since
Maybe
the
they're just
whole-
going straight there instead of stopping back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes me wonder like what if they're up to anything crazy in the meantime. So, because I mean you gotta think Doflamingo's place is right next to Marijoa, or not right
Probably
next to it,
making
but it's close to it. So
They're probably making a pit stop to make a withdrawal from their iceberg.
oh maybe actually they might have gone to open the treasure again. Now that he has his
That-
you're right. They might actually be right, dude.
That also might be foreshadowing though, where he's like they're not back yet because they are part of Luffy's fleet. So
Yeah, that's another
maybe
important
they
thing. Yeah,
show
they're
up
part of
late.
Luffy's fleet, so they're
I
up to
don't know.
something. They're definitely up to something, and I can't wait to see what it is. But we did get our first sort of sneak peek at Kano Kuni, and it looked pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It
What I want to
looked
see
really
is how
interesting.
Fishman Island thing goes in thingy, because it was the Queen's dream, innit? I want
Yeah,
to see how that
Okazune,
actually
yeah,
goes.
getting all
Well,
the
that
Like, if he
signatures.
dedicates at least 1 or 2 chapters to that, I wouldn't mind.
what's going to be really interesting though is if that theory comes true, where there's going to be representation from the 4 Yonkos at the Reverie. Like someone obviously has information about that Poseidon is there in flesh, in person.
Well, Kaido might
Yeah.
personally go there if he knows Shirahoshi's there. Like
Yeah.
he could acquire an ancient weapon like that. Like
What
question
about
is,
Well,
it's not
it,
confirmed yet that Kaido knows. It's like we don't know if he spilled the beans yet on it.
a representative of Wano Kuni will definitely go because Kano Kuni's going to send a representative. So there should be somebody there connected to Kaido in some way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
definitely agree. Wano Kuni has to send someone. Although, are they part of the world
Eh,
government? I don't know if they
Yeah,
are.
they said they were isolated. They
Oh,
did
no,
say they were
Wano.
isolated.
Oh no, they're not actually. They're
That
one of the only countries that's
Yeah.
not
that's the whole
connected.
thing about
That's
them
right.
opening their borders.
Yeah, one of the ones that
Yeah.
wasn't in the chapter that I think might send someone is possibly Amazon Lily. I think Amazon Lily might send someone to the Reverie.
Well, they would send Boa because she's
I
technically
think
the
Boa
leader.
would
Yeah,
actually
probably
do so.
Lola.
Or the old lady, the little midget one.
Yeah, or Elder Neon.
Yeah, but it was like it was a
That's-
pain in the ass to get Boa to go to Marine Ford. There's no way she's gonna go to the Reverie.
Yeah,
it's
but
just
she
stubborn
hates
as
them.
shit.
Another
She
thing,
hates
They'll
the.
another
probably
thing,
lie to
yeah,
say
it's
Luffy's going there and she'll jump.
yeah. She
Mhm.
wants to stay as far away from the celestial dragons as possible. She's not gonna go to their front door.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
true.
Well, one thing too that's going to be crazy about this Reverie is the Reverie is supposed to talk about all the issues regarding the world and the Grand Line, and one big issue is Luffy. But there's going
Yeah.
to be a lot of people there that are
That
on
know
Luffy's
Luffy.
side.
Yeah,
But there are also people there that aren't on Luffy's side too.
like
That
Wapple,
probably will be like, yeah, Wapple's one.
Wapple.
Stelly.
Well, is Wapple still controlling it? Or is Dalton and like the representative
Well,
from
No,
what-
he set up. If you look at the cover
Set up
stories, he
another-
set up his own kingdom, the Black Drum Kingdom.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he's,
He
the
married,
one I
also-
saw.
he's married to
I was
Miss
wondering what
Universe
the hell
as
that
well.
was.
He also
And it goes on to
created some
something
sort of
back
weird
then.
metal called Wapo metal that was actually used by Frankie to make the Shogun.
Yep.
Oh, was
So
it?
he's gonna play an important role, and it's cool. We finally got him introduced. Like you read these cover stories, and you know they're not going to be relevant for like 5 years, but then finally they come
Yeah.
into play. It's really cool.
Am I the only one? I think Sabo's the one in the top hat on the newspaper.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think
has he
so.
been exposed
Probably so.
as being alive and part of the revolution?
Well, they already knew who he was before, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
say exposed.
Remember Dressrosa? Everyone knew he was like the whatever it's called.
And I mean, like, everyone from younger thought he was dead, and they didn't know about his existence. So maybe his brother
I
doesn't
mean,
know.
Do you
They
think
could've
Luffy
shown
reads
that.
newspapers?
I doubt it. I highly
Maybe
doubt it.
Ace probably did, and he never knew Sabo was alive.
The whole Ace
It's
thing
so
is really confusing. Like, I think
We don't know.
the thing is
What's
his what is it called? His memories. Remember, his memories didn't come back until after Ace
Yeah,
died.
he had no memories.
So
Yeah, he saw the
and-
newspaper.
Yeah, so I don't. Even though he was probably known, they didn't know he was the same Sabo from back then. You know,
Yeah,
It-
no one
it's-
can
it's-
tell that he completely changed.
it's one of those things. Like introducing Sabo to the story overall is one of the things that I wasn't really a big fan of, just because it just came out of nowhere, and it's like,
Yeah.
But that's
a topic
for a different
place
video.
to introduce Sabo.
yeah, like I
So
don't think he was
Like
foreshadowed
his
at all.
brother, like if Sabo would have came back like right about now, that would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
only
that's-
reason.
okay.
Sabo was neat to set up this revolutionary storyline though, like where Blackbeard finds them.
no, yeah, I
Like that-
agree. It's just uncharacteristic. Like normally, like I don't think he was foreshadowed pretty much at all. He wasn't.
Well,
like,
we knew he was still alive, but he just wasn't like they didn't
Like,
foreshadow his coming to
his
Dressrosa.
appearance. No, I mean I'm saying his
Yeah.
appearance as overall, like the fact that Luffy had a third brother.
You know, even though, like I said, it is kind of abrupt to introduce Sabo. It was like that moment was probably about the only, unless they did like a revolutionary arc, that they would have to introduce Sabo because it was Ace's fruit, and that somebody had to attain. Ace's
Yeah.
fruit is kind of what brought him there, so it was like that reunited him and Luffy.
The way
So
Oda did it was awesome. Like, Asabo's now a fan favorite. I'm talking more
yeah,
just like,
it's
just the
just
fact that he
now
introduced it. But
it's confusing, so like
yeah, some of the
everything
stuff
about
like
her
doesn't make
just gets a
sense.
little
It's
bit
like, why
confusing.
didn't Ace know about it? Ace should definitely know about it. But yeah,
I
so it's like
want to see
nice.
how all these like kings and queens play into the story, like how some of them are completely on the world government side, and some are like divergent and start siding with Luffy in it. So I want to see how that actually plays out.
But yeah, let's
Like
talk
if they
about let's talk about some of them because there are a
would,
couple of interesting ones. Like there's the one that looks like Hitler. He's wearing like
yeah.
the Nazi hat. So Oda's obviously he's gonna play. He's gonna be important. Obviously, like Oda designed him specifically for a certain purpose. You can just tell.
There's also that one with the sick goatee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
If
freaking
you want to actually
clock goatee.
bring
That
up,
looks like a clock.
so the one that's on Manga Stream, page 10, he's one of the final panels on the bottom. He's like got his nose up, and you can see those towers in the background and his
Yeah,
flag. That looks a lot like the towers from Nolan's
yeah, that's what I was
Reveal.
saying earlier. That guy
Yeah.
is probably from Lovenil. It's
And
not
then
confirmed yet,
on
but yeah,
the next page, there's the little small guy. He's real old. He's got this big like bushy
yeah.
beard. He could be from the Science. He looks like he
Yeah, I was about to
belongs in the
say
Science
Karkuri Island or whatever. What do they call the whole island? No, I think Karkuri Island or
You
yeah,
you know what I
that'd be really
wonder?
cool.
You know how like Doflamingo was supplying people with weapons from Dressrosa? I wonder if that will sort of play in Luffy, the revelry turning on Luffy. I wonder that because that might be a big deal. Like, because some of them I don't think all of them are like completely legit, but they do it for what they think is the betterment for their country.
All right,
Yeah, I
wait.
mean they
So
have their personal interests. They have
Yeah.
their own
this
personal
this
interests.
sort of goes into what I was saying. Okay, so last week I brought the fact that there needs to be one world. There needs to be Luffy needs to do a new world-shattering event outside of just defeating Doflamingo, right?
Yeah,
Or start something, right? And this is why I think the reverie will take place after Whole Cake, or take place at least after one of the big occurrences of the versing the four emperors, because it'll be like one of those situations where they're all sitting around the table and they're like, "Oh, right, next topic, the topic of Straw Hat Luffy. He just did this. Like this guy, we can no longer ignore this guy." And that would be great because there's the dynamic that some of these kings are going to hate him because they lost their weapons, like, but they can't openly admit like I was on the black market buying weapons. And then you have people like the Nefertiris who were like, we like him, and Dalton, we like him, but they can't admit that they worked with him because he's also a pirate and this infamous pirate. So I feel like it's going to be a really great story point, which is another reason why I think the reverie will take place after. I'm not saying it'll take place after he defeats all four of the emperors, right? We don't even know if he's going to defeat all four of the
I think
emperors this arc, but
I
it's
think it
going to
makes
take
sense,
it's going to take
because
place
he
a little
knows
farther down the
that
line.
the time of arrival is, and then it completely cut out, so no one knows when it actually
You
how
know
long it
yeah,
what
takes
could
to
happen
get to the reverie. And Luffy is several days, and it could take
is
maybe like 2 weeks to get there. You don't know,
what could happen
so that
is
could actually happen.
because considering people have been saying Big Mom has government connections, maybe she'll have some because she does have like a good bit of power in certain countries. Maybe she'll have a representative there, and then maybe that representative will hear that Big Mom is defeated, and then secretly pass that knowledge on to some people, and then that will be a really big effect that it's like the changing point of the little battle of whether or not to treat Luffy as a really really serious issue or to just throw him to the side. Something like that would pretty much shake it up.
Yeah, but I think very few people actually think that Luffy's going to get into a fight and like take Big Mom down, as much as there's going to be a diplomatic end to
Like,
whatever hostilities occur.
yeah, like I mean, I don't necessarily think be a fight, but it could be like sort of I'm trying to say here, sort of like he sort of does something to her that drastically weakens her. Like maybe he takes down one of her top commanders and wrecks a couple of her ships and shit, and that like
The
just
kid already,
completely weakens like the power that she has.
Well,
kid's already been doing that.
I think Peckham's might backstab Luffy. Like
That was
he's still
foreshadowed, yeah.
he's still a
Yeah,
part of Big Mom's crew.
yeah, that's kind of
what do you
that's
guys think
hella
about
possible.
Peckham's for Nakama?
Yeah, rip seconds from
Oh no,
everything.
man,
Now it's
Carrot,
bad.
like
Not only
after
that,
this, after
took out Luffy.
after this chapter, Carrot is like really high up there. Like she wants to go on an adventure. Like she's got
She
all
did.
of
Carrot's
the
a
like thing.
savage, dude.
I don't think she'll join, but I want her to join. Her gags. So this is just off topic from the whole reverie, but like, that gag in the chapter when like she's like, I brought this, and it's like this like she brought like nothing, and he's like, to
Carrots.
see like you know how long a journey is, and she's like, I have a carrot, and Luffy eats it, and she like goes and she's about to like bite Luffy's neck out, like she's about to, and then Nami's like, just pat her on the head, and she's so great. She has like such a
She
great
almost took
dynamic.
out Luffy. That surprised me. She nearly took out Luffy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Minks are strong. Like they're
Yeah.
they're very strong. They still have the electro power that we still don't know too much about. So
I already knew that the Big Mom saga or whatever was going to be based on a like sort of a mashup of the Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. Have you guys started to notice those
Yo.
Yeah,
parallels?
definitely. It feels
Speaking
very
of the
Disney.
Wizard of Oz, anybody notice the guy like the king page 11 has like these clocks for like his
Yeah, that's
goatee?
exactly what I was gonna say.
I'm
oh,
like,
It
that's
might
a
be a
good
Yeah, he's
point.
the
reference.
guy I was talking about, like being like he looks like Vista.
yeah,
And the guy
he's
next to
hella
him, don't
weird.
you think? I think it's Kaido's representative, because he got
He
that kind
could
of
be.
horn
He
thing
does.
sticking out.
Yeah, I
Now
mean it's
He
like
might be.
the thing that's
That's a hat.
interesting.
Those aren't horns. That's a hat.
The
Is
interesting
it?
thing is that
Can't.
there's a whole panel devoted just to a cigar.
oh yeah, so I wonder
And
who that is.
Croc boys?
Croc.
Nah,
Croc
the
boys?
romantic guy in
Russell.
Blackbeard's crew, the one who came from Import Down.
Oh, dude.
Oh no, that's the
Wait,
first thing that
Shiryu?
came to.
Shiryu, you mean?
I don't
yeah,
remember his name.
Shiryu the Rain. Yeah,
Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
him.
Shiryu the Rain.
there was a lot of
Yes,
speculation
Luffy
back when we saw the
from
brokers
Ireland.
that one of them looked just like Shiryu, and he had the same cigar, same sort of face. Could definitely be him. Some people were thinking he could be a Vince Smoke representative. Some people thought that the Hitler-looking guy could actually be the Vince Smoke head. Who knows, man? And that's like why I'm excited to see the Reverie. Like we're gonna see a lot of
Vin
these
Smoke
guys.
equals Gestapo.
So yeah,
But
we see we see Rebecca again. Rude.
I think something is definitely like some big reveal is going to go down at the Reverie, but I don't know if somebody's going to crash the party
know
or if
what
they're just going to.
could happen? I mean, it just in terms of reveals. I mean, this could cover up a bit more of the new world. Like we could hear more about what big criminals there are out there. Who are the big name pirates aside from the Yonko guys like that. And I think it'll be a lot of name drops out there during this bit of few chapters that we could see in the Reverie.
Yeah, and
We may
speaking
hear.
about what he said, what's it called again about the Reverie? It says a peaceful, productive exchange between the eccentric heads of the world states is often a tall order. So, like we said before, there's some that's on Luffy's side and some that are completely on the world government side. So it could actually be a split between almost the world right now, and no one could actually have to crash it. So it could go in that direction, or it could be like Dragon crashing it. So it could go two possible ways that would be interesting.
Yeah,
There's
the
something.
second thing I want to hear about is this. Wait, what is this? Because I mean, I'm not, maybe something from the past chapter. I'm just not remembering. What is this war that they're talking about in Kano country? Like,
Kano.
yeah, because it's like it
Yeah.
goes Don Chinchou or Will Sai has yet to return. The war is over. What is this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
well, the reason that they were on Dressrosa in the first place was they were basically looking for the weapons that were coming from Dressrosa through Doflamingo was the original reason they were on the island. And so after Luffy took him out, they stopped getting weapons. So this goes into something I wanted to say before, but a bunch of wars have now ended because of what Luffy did. So there's more likely to be kings who are actually happy with what Luffy did because now they're sitting on the throne because the wars ended.
Yeah, there could be a lot pissed
Yeah,
at the
true.
same
And then
time.
they'll be pissed at
Yeah.
the same time because they couldn't get that power, or they couldn't take over because of the war and over. So yeah.
Now, do you guys think that Rob Lucci will be at the Reverie? What do you guys
No,
think about that?
no.
I mean, I think a CP0 representative might be, but I don't think
Well,
Rob Lucci.
they'll be in the background because they might be like security or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Yeah.
Guarding the place.
You know what? I mean, this may be, we may not actually see this, but one thing I would, just as as a hope, I wonder what's that secret, because they're going to Mary Toa. What's that secret inside that everybody's been talking about? That's what just
Uranus.
It could
Who
be the
knows?
last poneglyph or whatever. Like
The
people think
thing,
that.
the
It
thing
could be
that
a
people
lot of things.
you have to remember
Whatever
that
it
the
is, some
celestial
kind of weapon.
you have to remember that the celestial dragons may not even partake that much in the reverie because they see themselves as above these like rulers. These
Oh
aren't
yeah,
like
true.
the only true blood like ancestral people that came from the original 20 countries or whatever are the Nefertiris because they chose to
Nefertaris.
stay. So like these guys, they might not even waste their time with these people. However, the thing that's interesting is that Nefertiri says he wants to find out the truth of the poneglyphs.
Yeah,
So
about
Oh
what
yeah.
happened. So we know that something
Yeah,
happened
he's
with
gonna get in trouble
Pluton.
for that.
I think that's a red flag. I think he's in trouble. And then the
Yeah.
other red flag that I think is like right there is the whole thing with Shirahoshi. And there's like
Oh
that whole
yeah, definitely.
conversation where first the guy's like, "Don't worry, the army will accompany us. We're safe." And then King Neptune's like, "If she does not join us, we will appear as if we are untrusting of humans." And then so they kind of convince her, but she doesn't want to go because she doesn't want to go until Luffy comes and takes her above the ocean. And there's the final panel of that page. It's just her like there's one tear on her eye, like a teardrop, and she's just looking down. She's thinking, and I don't know. I feel like that's totally a red flag that she's gonna get in trouble. And I don't.
Well, yeah, that's
I
definitely
think the
true.
other countries, that since you're saying she could be in trouble, if the other countries find out she's Poseidon, they could essentially she could essentially spark a war. Because like I said, just Rosa, they've already stopped getting weapons. Now it could be that these countries are not interested in the ancient weapon Poseidon, because I mean that was a big weapon, in during the Void Century for God knows whatever reason, and that could be something that could spark like a war or a conversation or something that they'd be
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
you're not allowed to have that because these countries don't allow that.
Now, keep this in mind as we talk about ancient weapons. I don't know if Water Seven will send a representative, but could definitely be Iceberg as well.
Yeah,
Although I don't know if he's a king or whatever, but
it's pretty much the leader over there.
yeah, there's something about Pluton we have to learn. Obviously, we know that there was something about Pluton on that poneglyph. Robin confirmed it to Cobra. Cobra's gonna ask them about why did their family leave and why what happened with Pluton and why he has to guard it and stuff like that. And if Tom's there, he has the blueprint, like he know about the blueprints. Or not Tom, what's his name? Iceberg. Sorry, if Iceberg's there, he know about the blueprints. We can learn some more info about that. I don't know. There's there's a lot of interesting
I
things.
think if
I was
Iceberg
like,
was going, we would have seen him in this chapter. I
Yeah,
feel.
it's. I don't think it counts as a kingdom, but you never know, man. Like, yeah. So you might see him and
Yeah.
his new assistant.
I feel like any like major parties that would be going to the Reverie, we've probably already been shown. I think the only thing that might like happen at like unexpected guests at the Reverie would be like somebody from the Revolutionary Army shows up, or like the Tenryubuto come down and make a mess.
yeah,
There's
But
I want
something.
to
I
see.
feel I feel like no matter what happens at this Reverie, it's just going to escalate the final war.
I
Yeah.
want to see, some just as like I said, another big hope. Some celestial dragon, maybe like one new celestial dragon, and maybe just a representative from the world government to come down just to see what they're discussing.
I
I
mean,
actually
It'll
want
be
to
there's
see
it'll
discuss
be interesting
Luffy.
if the it'll be interesting if the Goro say sit down at the table.
yeah. I mean,
That's true.
there's still the foreshadowing that he did at the end of Dressrosa that like the Straw Hat Alliance will lead to a huge event that will change the world. So is that linked to the Reverie? I don't know yet. It could be linked to the war with the four emperors, but it's just interesting to me that, like we mentioned before, Don Chinzhao wasn't even like he went out of his way to say Don Chinzhao and Sai haven't returned yet. They're gonna miss the Reverie. So I don't know. Maybe that means that the alliance that Luffy will also not show up with the alliance. That's a totally different thing, but we'll see.
Yeah. I guess the
I'm
last
not
thing we can touch on that we haven't. Well, there's two things. First off, the cover story. Someone wanted to say something about it.
Oh well, we just know that that Herculean, whatever his name is,
Heracles and
we saw him in the trailer for Film Gold, and he was in the Film Gold. So I don't know if this is Oda being like a little cute thing about like, oh look, he's going to this casino island, or if it's him coming
Well, it
back
makes
from
sense, right? Because it says he still hasn't returned home, so he's out gambling, dude. But I guess
Gambling all this shit away.
the thing that I guess the last thing we haven't talked about is the whole Vivi thing, where people were saying that this indicates that she's probably going to be with Luffy now, or she likes Luffy. But I think people are just forgetting about Koza, man. Like Vivi already has, the perfect partner. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to chime in on that. I don't know if you guys are big into pairings.
Nah, I just
If
gave up
not,
the
I'll
Nah,
go
I
into
think
my
I think
super theory.
Oda's said multiple times that that's not really
Still
what he's going to do
parents.
with his story. He's going to tease people, but that's about it.
Yeah, and I feel like
Yeah.
this was a
Yeah,
big
but
tease.
Vivi's a princess, so like
There needs to be a king at
makes
some
sense
point.
for there to be a king here.
Yeah, and
But the
her dad
people that
still
are
like
lined up
this.
probably are like of like royalty, and
I think
Hello.
Koza makes sense.
What
I
are you
think
guys doing?
Koza.
yeah, Koza makes
And
a lot of
she's
sense.
yeah, that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yo, boys, can you hear me?
Yeah, so
Super
it's
theory
awesome.
time.
What you doing?
We're discussing right now, Dusky. Alright, guys. So AH,
Oh
he wants to
Lord.
present his mega theory to everyone. Let's go ahead and
No,
hear
this
it,
Yeah.
is
man.
something me.
Can
Let
I
me
ask
go ahead
one thing?
and let me.
Alright,
Oh, go
Underdog wants to
ahead.
ask
Go
a quick
ahead.
question.
Yeah. Speaking about who said something about celestial dragons again?
Wait,
That
so it's
was. I mean,
HD
remember
gonna do
saying
it?
I went to see him.
Yeah. What's it called again? You know the ones that Luffy basically punched out at the
Carlos.
Sabaody archipelago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carlos. Yeah.
Yep.
If the celestial dragons do show up, and obviously it's a given that the topic of Luffy would come up naturally at the Reverie, like. Do you
Yeah.
think there will be a complete split and people obviously
Oh, I
listen
feel like if
directly
the
to the
Celestial
celestial
Dragons show up,
dragons?
it's no longer direct split up. It's no,
Nah,
we're
I doubt
getting
that the
Luffy,
Celestial
Now,
Dragons
and
would
there's
show up,
no.
however.
now if they did, then basically, if the celestial dragons do say something, it's basically law, technically towards the world government. If they say
I
I
something
feel like
to
mean,
go
if
like, get
the
Luffy,
chances of
it's
Celestial Dragons showing up at such a quote unquote tea party is very slim
no,
due
no,
to
not
the
Tea
fact
Party,
of not
Reverie,
only a
Reverie, Reverie.
referee, whatever, very slim that it would happen, however. Just for the sheer
yeah,
fact of how what's the word I'm looking for? How important they are, quote unquote, just because of their royal lineage, just because of what they're in the sense worth, and if anything was to occur in the sense, it would be possibly drastic in the sense for the new world itself.
Yo,
If
yeah, that's true.
do you
Say
guys
like the
think
god some stuff like that.
do you guys think the Reverie would be a good spot for Enel to show back up?
Oh no, get it out of
I
here.
don't know. It'd be too
I
much
don't
Especially
think
because
chaos.
Enel
Enel
is
is
a tea party.
Enel is a
You
close book at this
goofball.
That would be
point.
funny.
Well,
Everyone's
Am I the
just
only?
everyone's
He's
just
out
looking for
there,
any
buddy.
reason to
Just
bring
well,
him in.
book
now
it.
that this was revealed, I don't
What
think
a goofball.
Jimmy's showing up with the phonoglyph at the Reverie. Bonnie's gonna reveal that she made Enel older than he actually is, and Crocodile's Luffy's mom. All right, that's gonna happen at the
I
Reverie.
believe it. I believe it.
Oh my god.
Dude, that would be
What
so
a
funny.
guy.
If Enel just like walks through the front door and he's just be like, "Oh, what's this?"
I'm the king of the
Buggy is
moon.
Roger.
Am I
I'm
the
the
only
new
one who
king.
thinks he's actually dead?
And now walks
And
up,
now
and I was like,
he's
oh, I'm
he's
Luffy is
alive.
actually
fuck
Goldie
yo.
Roger. He just doesn't remember it.
Yo,
Oh,
HD,
cause he said he was
what's your
going to
big
the
theory
endless
or
breath.
whatever?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
said he
Oh,
what's
was
your
going to
HD
the endless
theory?
breath
What's
and
your
he
HD
actually
theory?
wanted to
What
go to the
happened? Too
moon
many
and
people
space.
talking.
yeah. No,
Everybody
but
calm down. Calm down, guys. Come on.
yo,
Alright,
Underdog.
so
NL has his
Insinuating
own cover
happened there.
story that you can read, and it shows like what happens to him after Luffy defeats him.
I actually ain't seen
alright,
that.
Yeah.
You got
So
this,
Can you,
HD.
alright. Okay, so
Put on your
before I start this,
spectacles.
because there are gonna be a lot of things you guys are gonna disagree with, but like I said, let me at least give me the chance to at least explain them before, you just jump in. So, like I
Boy.
said,
Well,
me
let
and
me put on my
Toilet.
spectacles.
Green, right?
But yeah, me and Toilet, I was talking to Toilet about this. So, all right, I guess I'll talk about how I came to be, how this theory came to be. So I woke up in the morning, and I was thinking about how what just because I want to do something big for the discussion. And the first thing I was like, well, I haven't really seen anybody do anything about Goldie Roger. So I was like, like why did Goldie Roger kill him? But I never really got around to that. So keep in mind that part because that's going to be really big later on. But so then I started thinking about Kaido and everything, and then how we see how the new world is sort of reminiscent to arcs of the past. And I was saying because Fuzzy mentioned last discussion, what if Kaido didn't have a devil fruit? He just had 100 beasts behind him. And I was thinking, then I thought, because of Momo having the voice of all things, what if Kaido had the voice of all things and he could control a bunch of animals? And then I was thinking of, like I said, because it's reminiscent to an old art, it would be like Skypiea, where Isa had mantra and Nell had mantra also. But then I took it, a step further and said, because I remember before I was talking to you guys about, I was talking to Boris about, the reason Kaido goes around and kills himself because he's an awakened Zoan, but he can't control it. And then, like, what if he could control, awakened Zoans, with his power? And then what if this was the reason, he wants to track down Momo, Raizo, all them, because they ate, Vegapunk's, special fruit that were, different zones, and he wants to force them into awakening so that he can use them to be destructive against the Marines in Marineford. And then, but then, I was talking to Toilet about it. Toilet, said, that's a little bit, he thinks that's not possible because, he feels that the voice of all things is connected to the will of D. And then I went, well, that's so how come Odin has it? And he says he feels that Odin has it because, he was around Goldie Roger and he was inspired by Goldie Roger. And then I was like, then it snapped. As soon as he said that, I was a little bit crushed, kind of thinking, how could I get around that? Then it snapped to me. I was like, because I went back, to my morning time when I was thinking, why did Goldie Roger kill himself? And I was thinking, what if the reason Goldie Roger killed himself was to get, a bunch of these pirates ready so that they would essentially inherit the voice of all things by being inspired by him. Essentially, that's how Kaido unlocked it. Because if you look at it, Kaido went after Odin because he was on Roger's crew. What if Kaido, is like a really huge fan of Goldie Roger? And, eventually he inherited the voice of all things. Now, he's got this ability that gives him the ability to control a bunch of beasts. And then somebody said something about, dragons being native to Wano. That would be an even better thing because now he's got all these dragons around him. And he's got this, this stronghold, where if somebody comes on around him, he can just, just zap them with his dragons and shit.
Okay.
So that's the first part.
Okay. I don't understand anything you said.
I just want to correct something, and a lot of people get this wrong, and I'm tired of hearing it. But Momonosuke was not wanted by Kaido for his devil fruit ever. Momonosuke got his devil fruit at Caesar's lab, and Kaido was already after him prior to that.
Oh yeah, because he's the Shogun's son and shit. But I mean,
so the idea that Kaido has any want for that devil fruit is non-existent. Because he didn't even know that devil fruit existed.
He wants Momonosuke because he thinks that Momonosuke can lead him to Raftel.
I got a theory myself once you're done talking.
Go ahead,
And the thing about Goldie Roger dying, I think is sort of what you're saying. He has his terminal illness, right? So he has time restraints where he can't, no matter what he does, he won't be able to fulfill the will of the country that was destroyed during the Void Century that he learned about on the final island of the New World, and so he won't be able to fulfill their will. So he decides to inspire other people like him by sacrificing his life and saying that it's like a treasure and that find Raftel. He decides to inspire other people, the one they carry on his will. This is then reiterated by Whitebeard when Whitebeard dies, and Whitebeard says to Blackbeard, he's like, "You're not the one that Goldie Roger was looking for. You're not the D that he was looking for." And he's most likely referring to Luffy.
I get it.
Don't want that D though.
Yeah, he's very particular about his D. So, but
yo, you bring up something I never thought about. What if the will of D passes, or not the will of D, the voice of all
Very
things
good point,
passes off
Jasper.
once someone dies?
Once a generation.
Well,
What's
that's
the
the
voice
thing
of
though,
all
because
things?
we know devil
many people
fruits.
had, would you believe that really might have the voice of all things even before Goldie
What's
Roger
the
died?
voice of all things?
I feel like
Well,
maybe if he had it,
I
he would
don't
have said that we had it, but he said that Roger
what I
had it.
think it is,
Yeah.
I don't think it's the fact that when somebody passes away who originally had the voice of all things, it transfers to other people, but I think it's the
Yo,
fact that
Toilet.
you're connected with the world
What's the
itself.
voice
The
of all
world
things?
speaks to you because the world
Yeah, like a
respects
chosen
you
people.
entirely. The world knows of your destiny and wants shares upon the things that the world knows itself, hence the voice of all things.
Well, so we don't know much
Luffy
about the
has heard it multiple times. Goldie Roger has
Mostly, yeah. And
spoke
they
to
both
it
had demon
entirely.
in
He's
him.
been to
He said
Skypiea.
he
He's
will
been
shake the world.
to Fishman Island. Exactly.
We don't know much about the voice of all D. It could be linked to observation hockey. I mean, the voice of all things. We don't know. It could be
The
tied to
voice of
Voice of
all
all.
the. The voice of all
Voice of-
the. I like it. I
I
like
think
it.
Jasper wants that
Yeah, I
deep,
mean,
huh?
I kind of think it's linked to observers like
Yeah, something Jasper said actually reminded me like King Nefertiti. He said that he wants to know what the previous king actually did to the world, and according to the poneglyphs. And something Jasper said reminded me of Joy Boy, which people have been
Yeah, there's the
speculating
Yo,
Cosmic
with
I'm
some
Joy
drama.
Boy.
which could have been the
That could
will that
actually
Roger
come
was carrying on that he
very
couldn't
soon.
complete.
Just be careful, because that part of that might have been a mistranslation.
Yeah. Well,
That
see, so
sentence didn't quite
basically,
make sense the way I said it.
I think we can assume is that the voice of all things
Yeah, totally be trolling.
allows you to read the poneglyphs in some way, or at least understand. I don't know. Greg from the One Piece podcast brought up this awesome thing about it's that line where Momonosuke goes, "I met Roger," and everyone's like, "You're a liar. You didn't meet Roger." What if the voice of all things allows you to see almost like a force ghost of like you know what I mean, like where you
The
Well,
past.
Star Wars
Yeah,
up
maybe.
in
Yeah.
I mean,
here.
You ha-
here's
allows
a
you to
weird
see
thing,
the
right?
past, yeah.
like
Here's
the
the weird.
conscience of Roger's lingering in
He-
something.
Here's a weird thing. So most of Roger's crew is old at this point, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
And Momonosuke is
You've
really
only
young.
seen half of them.
Does it make sense
Yep.
for
Mhm.
Momonosuke at that age to be the son of Odin? To me,
Uh,
I feel like Momonosuke might not be what we think he is. Like I think he might actually be older.
And
than
the-
a kid
Well, that
Roger is
depends
older
though
than.
as to what year Momonosuke was birthed. To be honest with you, it could have
Exactly,
been
yeah.
her mother could still been alive around the time before eventually having died to whatever causes being if it's death, illness, etc., etc. Now, I referring to HD earlier, referring to Momonosuke and Kaido. If all you remember the Alabasta arc, there was in fact the idea that Crocodile wanted to go into the family tombs. What I believe it is that, of course, I think did somebody mention about Kaido going after Momonosuke, being that he might have a key to some underground tomb of sorts?
Possibly. Oh, and if you remember
Yep,
back in the
true.
Alabasta tombs, they had the same carvings that they had in Skypiea.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Momonosuke
Yep.
is not only the blood lineage of the Wano Kingdom, but he is also possibly the only living relative to have ties into not only the carvers of the poneglyphs, but the fact that there might be something that Kaido wants
Oh
to
my god.
potentially get the Raftel.
Yeah, I think that it's
People,
like. Oh, sorry.
Momonosuke can't translate poneglyphs. They've already said that anybody who is in lineage of the people who made the poneglyphs, they were never transferred the idea as to how to translate them or what they said in general. But there could have been something differ from the poneglyph itself, perhaps a scroll that actually translated itself entirely without needing somebody to read the poneglyph entirely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yo,
Robin
Oda
had to
needs
learn the
to finish
knowledge.
his story.
You're able to learn how to translate poneglyphs.
Yeah, you're
like
able
Robin.
to learn about it.
Yeah.
What if you didn't have Robin? What if you're somebody who,
Yeah, so
I
that,
like,
feel like
much like the
that's
family,
gonna.
you didn't know what it meant. You didn't know
Joy
what was
Boy.
going on.
that could be and that's really good. That's what Kaido could be after. He could be
That's
after.
exactly.
Yeah.
Kaido possibly has no exact idea as to what the poneglyph said. There's like translations. There could very well be a cheat sheet for it, pretty much. That's
As
what
for
it is.
as for the
Something
age of
else.
Momonosuke, though, he definitely could be his age because it's been like 20 years or whatever since Roger's death. And they said they were like the same rank as like Shanks on basically
Well,
on like Whitebeard's crew. So
Nekomamushi and
Lord Odin
Inuyasha
could be a
were.
kid. Could have been like a young guy. Lord Odin could have been younger.
Well, that's the thing, though, because
He
as
was
Boris was
definitely-
mentioning earlier, Momonosuke can't be the age he is. Very well, could have just been still in his mother, though. That's the thing, and wasn't birthed until later on when his father died.
Yep, true.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah.
good.
The
That's
other
good.
thing to keep in mind is that he's also very
Potentially-
pervy. He's very pervy for his age.
But when the Wano was taken
Wait, who?
over by Kaido,
Momo.
there could have been a way
Oh,
of
yeah.
getting the family out of Wano entirely and having them hidden away because of how valuable they could potentially be to Kaido himself.
I don't think the pervy. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think the pervy thing for Momonosuke means that he's secretly older.
I'm not
Because
saying that it
Oda
means it,
always
but
makes
it's
children
clue.
like
But
take after the
That's a
people
lot of
around him.
Botox, though.
Like
He's
he's
just a little
naive, so he takes
player.
after the people around him, and Kinemon's a perv, so he takes after
Some-
Kinemon.
Actually, I just have another theory. Momonosuke ate a second of a fruit called the plastic no means, so now he's very young.
That face is the best
No,
face. Oh my
he's
god.
Yo, I don't want to get a copyright strike, dude. Yo,
Is that a
last
copyright strike for a
Right
picture?
strike.
chill, man.
Yes. Facts,
from a
facts,
picture.
Oh.
Whoa, that's
Uh-oh,
crazy.
Oda just sent me Twitter.
Oda's gonna take that
Okay,
down.
good,
Watch
I
out.
got it, bro.
Yeah,
Gotta get out
I
of
don't
here.
know. I'm not saying like. To be honest, the fact that he has a childish behavior makes me think that he's not, that he is his age. But I don't know the fact that I feel like Odin was on several of Roger's crew. I don't think he was just for the final one, although he could have been. I think that was clarified.
The
the
fact.
that
Oh.
or I
Yo,
think
well-
only. I mean,
Well-
yeah, Inurashi and Nekomushi said they were like cabin boys pretty much, but they didn't
Okay,
say Odin
well,
was.
what about this? You know how he said, he met Roger, and then we see he has the voice of all
Well,
things. He's
let's
talking to Zoe.
if you were to look back to like the flashbacks, sorry for interrupting you, of when Roger was showing most of his crew, you could potentially already point out to who's who, like Rayleigh, Buggy, so and so. But then you got to look to the other crew members and potentially try to pick out, okay, which one of these guys is the king
Yeah.
of the Wano Kingdom.
None of them look very like Japanese like styles.
That's the thing,
Yeah,
though,
but
because
I've looked.
most likely Oda
They only followed
Oda
them.
would
They only
have
followed them for
possibly
a
shown
souvenir.
him already, but people haven't already pinned it as to who is the king of the Wano Kingdom, or was the king of the Wano Kingdom.
Yeah, I've
So-
looked. I don't think anyone really match what you would expect to be a Domino. But he could have changed his look.
Oda probably doesn't want to show all of them.
Momonosuke's-
They say, where's Waldo? You can't find him.
Momonosuke's dad wasn't the shogun of Wano. He was just a lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
He was
a
a Domino.
Yo, Tyler, look what I dropped first round.
Well, what if it was like that? He didn't actually meet Goldie Roger, but like I said, because we see that he can't control the voice of all things. What if he was he just on accident was talking to certain creatures because Goldie Roger has probably visited Wano Kuni, and because he's been going through he's been seeing visions of Roger, and that's why he's like, yo, I met Roger because he's seen visions. He knows
Yeah.
and he knows a good bit about Roger.
Yeah, that's
Well, he could have said he met Roger too, because Roger's son was at Wano Kuni. Like we know Ace visited there.
Yeah, I really think it has to do
Ace
with.
is in Wano Kingdom. That's how you
Yeah,
meet
people
that.
be trolling.
I think
He
it really
just
has to do with like the
recognized
Force
him.
Ghost. He got the vision. Yoda came to him. He was like, "Yo, there's a
Yeah,
Jedi
there's
holocron on Wano
there's
Country.
something
Please
about
find
Yeah.
it."
Zoro has awakened Haki when he can use his other eye.
Everybody on Wano.
Yo,
is
Sasuke,
just
dude, you gotta
fucking
chill, man.
stop,
Put that in
bro.
the general
Just a
chat.
span-
The copyrights.
No, I just put that in the general chat.
What if Spandam is the voice of all things?
Fandom is the voice of all things. What you mean?
Like,
Don't you
he's
know you can
literally
talk to
just inside
Buckley?
your head. You hear his annoying voice.
Fandom
Hey,
is the
hey,
punching
hey.
bag of all things.
Hey, can I ask a question? Like, there wasn't a time frame on when Odin actually met Roger, so it could have been years prior, maybe like when
Well,
Roger
yeah,
just
they haven't
started.
estimated a time
Nobody
as
really knows.
when he met Roger. Or
But we know
potentially
Odin died
went on his
recently,
ship
and
for a long
everyone
period
that
of time.
knew Roger is old now.
Well, there's a lot of people that.
Well, most of them were. You gotta think about
Shanks
it.
and Buggy are still kind of young.
Shanks is the
Sasuke,
youngest
what the-
one on the ship, as far as we
Yeah.
know, though.
What happened under
And
there?
there's what's his face at the Twin
Shanks
Peaks.
is what,
That's
like
why
40
it
now?
just it shocks me that he would have a kid like so late into his life.
Well,
Considering
a
that he
lot of
needs to
people-
pass on the knowledge, it takes,
Goldie
it takes a
Roger
long
was a
time
wild
to.
card, man. He could care less what age you are, as long as you're true to what you are. Then I think he would allow you to join his crew.
A lot of
If you
people
knew
think that-
exactly what you wanted and what you were doing, then I think he would allow you to just come on, man, just get on the
Oh,
ship.
the new
already.
Hunter x Hunter chapters out.
I mean, it is possible that he could have, also met Ace. Maybe Ace dropped his real name and said, my name is actually, my name is.
Well,
Goldie
that's the
Ace.
thing. Yeah,
And then,
Ace
he
did.
screwed it
Well,
up.
yeah,
and
Ace.
maybe he just screwed it up and just suggested
As
that
he
Goldie
said
Ace
before,
was
Ace
Goldie
did
Roger.
visit the Wano Kingdom, hence how he was able to make the what was it, the Straw Hat. And if anything, there could have been a time. Oh, that's right, because
Straw Hat is the voice of
how
all
would
things.
Ace be able to visit the Wano Kingdom so easily with Kaido controlling it, though?
I don't think
Yeah,
Kaido
we
had
don't know
it
when
back
Kaido
then.
took control. We don't know when
Kaido took
Yeah.
control.
No, I don't think Kaido actually controlled it when Ace went there.
Look,
Like there wasn't a time frame either of when Kaido took over Wano country. They just say he took over it now, and they're going around now.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
so
could have
there's-
it could have been Whitebeard's territory, considering a lot of people think that the Whitebeard Roger flashback happened
To your time
on
skip
Wano Kuni.
over.
So
Yeah, during because the cherry blossom. And
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
But
Not
there's
to mention
okay, so
Capone
there's a few
mentions
things. So we don't. Okay, so two. A lot of people think there's like a popular theory that Roger went on 2 voyages around the world because he says after Roger saw what was on the final islands, he changed his course. So on the second journey, what's his name could have been with him. Because also remember, what's his name didn't start wasn't with Roger from the beginning either. Crocus.
Right.
And then second, we were bringing this up, but Wano country is enclosed, and they're one of the only countries that stayed away from the world government, and they also made the poneglyphs. So they maybe on Wano, there's like Splash was saying, there's the secret to the more secrets to the poneglyphs, and they might have a way to decipher them.
Yeah,
and that's why
Momonosuke.
Kaido then would want to go take control, occupy Wano.
You gotta think about it, because Crocodile was doing the same thing with Alabasta because he knew there was something hidden beneath the city itself, hence the family tombs.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly something on Wano that we currently don't know about.
No, yeah, definitely
But,
a lot of
yeah.
secrets there. Elemental swords and all this kind of weird stuff. It's gonna be fun. But I think Wano, we're gonna have to wait. We have to be patient. First we gotta take care of the reverie now. We gotta take care of the tea party.
Yeah.
Yo, Oda needs to finish this.
So who was talking about earlier about like Rob Lucci and CP0?
I mentioned, what do you guys think the possibilities of CP0 showing up at the tea party?
I think
it's
it is a
definitely
possibility, but I think they won't physically be seen, but just kind of like they're there, right? Because
Yeah,
you gotta
like,
give
body
that the numbers of CP9 all the way down to 0. They really don't want to be known entirely as to they're there, what they're doing, and what reason they have to be there. CP0 could very well be spying in on the Tea Party itself just to see who's there and who's attending it, or they could potentially be there as well because Big Mom might also have a trump card up her sleeve as well. Granted, it's supposed to be a tea party. It's supposed to be a bunch of people gathered around to celebrate the inevitable marriage, right?
No, the reverie and the tea party are 100% separate.
They're two different
They're
things.
two different things.
This guy in the chat just said Green Bull reveal in Wano Kuni.
Maybe.
What revealed in
He's
Wano
supposed to be maybe like people think he's like a samurai because of like how they're all made after actors, and one of the there's like an actor who fought Suji Tora's actor in the movie.
Excuse me.
I just want to see Al Beth, man. They're pulling it off too much.
Oh,
They said
Al
they
Beth is
went
a
to
while away.
Yeah, no.
Maybe
Boris,
after.
were you? No, Boris, were you here when I kept mentioning about how like every time Usopp lies, it usually comes true?
Yeah, most of them have come true already.
Oh, HD.
Most of them. Like,
There's something also really. There's something really important you have to remember too is that what's his name's Castle is flexing. The guy who has the king punch. It's
Elizabeth.
flexing, and I think that's really important for the future of One Piece.
Flexing.
Who?
Look at the castle in the chat.
It's a picture like the castle's made to look like the king.
Flax, my friend.
HD.
It's kind of funny, but it's not really.
I'm
got
curious.
anything to do with
Does
the
Big
story.
Mom have like not only daughters but sons as well? Though that's what I'm curious about.
Maybe. I don't
We've,
know.
we've only mentioned about daughters, but nothing about sons
I
either.
guess sons-in-law, I guess, but I don't know.
Well, maybe not sons-in-laws, but legit sons in general.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll learn next. I guess, guys, this is almost an hour, so let's finish the discussion by like, what do you guys think is gonna happen next? What do you guys think that we'll see next chapter? Because it's kind of crazy.
More reverie chapters, just more
Buggy
reverie
finds
stuff.
the One Piece.
Exactly.
I think that it's going to start switching back over now to the journey because this is still.
I think it might be.
This happens after every arc where we
a
see
little
what
bit
the world's doing.
Maybe.
Do you guys think we'll see the Tea Party next chapter? Do you want to reach the Whole Cake Island?
Well, it'll be about them going to the Tea Party. We might not actually get to that island yet, but it'll.
Another 5 chapters maybe.
Well,
And
I
we'll
think
get
at
Luffy's
least
reaction to Baltigo.
exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say at least we gotta get Luffy's reaction to Baltigo, and then we gotta see, I guess, where we go from there.
It would be
Yep.
nice to see Sanji
Well,
in like
yeah.
maybe his current situation.
Oh yeah, dude, that'd be the best way
But yeah,
to
Marco
get
as
us
well.
hyped.
Marco as well.
Marco, we
Mhm.
might not see for a while because his location is being kept a mystery.
The
His
Wano
location is being
Kuni
kept
stuff,
a
I
think-
mystery for whenever you know.
Shanks.
I doubt Marco would come to
Oh,
something
you
like
know
that, though,
what?
to be honest with you.
I was reading up on something. You know what I would like to know? Just as something random, and it may even come up next chapter. It was something Pawn mentioned. It was really, but it wasn't like in certain of the chapters. He said that Whitebeard's waters were immediately turned into blood, to a bloodbath. And so I wonder, like how much of his, because we feel like you said Whitebeard could have been on Wano Kuni, and that could have been where him and Roger were talking. How much of his territory is kind of divided, and would that be something they discuss
Well,
in the
it must
reverie,
be
like
pretty
what to do with
divided at
that
this point,
territory?
since
Yeah,
he
like,
It's
kind
already
of
been
that
seized by
could be
people
something.
by this point.
Yeah, it's pretty much been, and I figure like,
It's
would
been
that
2
be
years.
something that they'll be, discussing? What to do with that territory? Should we just, blot them out, and how will they effectively deal with the Yonko? Because I feel like that's definitely something they've got to talk about. Because they said it's a
Yep.
plan for the
They say
next
it
4
happens every
years.
4 years, and the Yonko have been
I-
around like way longer,
Yeah.
so I don't really think they can do anything because they're practically the
Well,
superpower that
yeah, I think
controls and
that pertains more
governs
to
the
Well,
the
well,
that pertains
no,
more to the
but
pirates. The pirates sort of decide who, like in the world government. I don't think the kings actually have any say in that because
I'm
at the end
saying
of the
about
day,
how to deal.
Yeah, the
I'm
world
saying how to
government
deal
are
with
the
it.
pirates.
No, I'm saying
I
how to
wouldn't.
deal with it, and not only
it's true,
that,
it's true.
considering that Akainu is the new fleet admiral. Like I said, he's got this
Yeah.
absolute, justice theory. Not jury, that's justice. That could be. They could. This could probably be the time that we see them be like, what, screw this. Let's take out the pirates now, and so we could. And like I said, it's a plan for
they
the next
could,
4 years.
yeah,
So we're not seeing.
Tea Party's
they
a
Like I said, it's
could.
a
setup.
plan for the next 4 years. So we're not seeing another one. This is gonna be
Yeah, the
the
Tea
The
end.
Party's a
problem is
setup. There's
that
gonna be a war at
the
the Tea
problem is
Party.
that they want to abolish the warlords like Fujitora wants to. So that's sort of counterproductive.
Yeah,
Productive and
It'll
taking
probably
out
be
the
a while
warlord.
until they actually potentially go through with the
Yeah, like
abolishment
No,
of
I'm
the
not saying,
warlord
like-
system.
Now, Kaino would have to step down before
So, yeah.
the warlords
That's the thing,
is
though,
abolished.
because with how Fujitora was acting in the downfall of Dressrosa and eventually the whole battle fighting and just burning Akaino, ironically enough, Akaino wasn't really too happy with the whole justice system of just potentially telling other islands of what Doflamingo did, and Gorosei wasn't happy with it either. So after that, I think a lot of people would eventually go against the idea of the warlord system, but with how it's set up, the Gorosei would have to delay its removal for like maybe about a week or so.
About a week or so.
All right, so I think I think on that note we gotta end it. It's gonna take a while to render, but
Bye-bye,
You guys
it's,
just worse.
it's an hour.
Got to
So
do it in parts, Boris. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part
Make
4.
sure to buy my t-shirts at $5.99
gotta
a
upload
pop.
it all at once, man. But yo, thanks again, all you guys. It's awesome discussing.
Everyone plug
We
your
do this
Instagrams
anyways.
right now.
We discuss manga and anime anyways, so we all decided to start recording these. We'll try to do one, I guess, every week. We'll try to do one of these every week. Sorry if it sounds rough or anything. We'll try to get everything worked out. But for the most part, I like how these are turning out. Yeah, and I guess thanks for you guys. Let us know if you have any thoughts on anything we've said today. And with that said, we'll see you guys next week with another Discord
Also,
discussion.
please don't sue us.
And yeah, it's up to
Hey,
all
Boris,
you
Hunter,
guys.
Hunter's
This is the
discussion.
only thing I can actually afford at
Yo,
this
I'm down
time.
for that because I'm actually caught up.
But yeah, until next time, guys. Thanks for watching.